Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. Tonight we'll see the end of the season for either Leeds or Norwich as they face each other at Ellen Road in the second leg of this Championship playoff semi-final. It is all to play for after Sunday's first leg ending 0-0 at Carrow Road. Leeds United ended up 6 points away from the automatic promotion spots after a poor end to the campaign, and they come into this match with just one win from their previous 7, which was away at Middlesbrough just under a month ago. If they progress through, it would be a 4th playoff final in the Football League for Leeds and just their first playoff final since 2008. For Norwich, they're in better form than their opponents, but not by much. 4 wins in their last 10 for the Canaries. In Wagner's first full season at the club, the American head coach has led his side to a playoff finish after last campaign finishing 13th with just 1 win from their last 11 to end a forgettable season. Leeds did do the league double over Norwich in the normal season, but a draw in the first leg was the first draw in this fixture for 9 games. In the 65th meeting between Leeds and Norwich, which team will take a step towards Wembley for a 1-game shootout to find themselves back into the Premier League? It is either Southampton or West Brom that they will face. We will find out who wins that other tie tomorrow night, but for tonight we are going to find out who will be the first team booking their place at Wembley for that Championship playoff final. Both semi-finals ended 0-0 after the first legs, and some called the first leg of this game boring. I completely understand why it wasn't the most gripping of first legs, but I quite enjoyed the tension around it. You could tell that there was just that little bit of nerves around the game, and especially in Championship playoff semi-finals when you know the Premier League is the prize, any little half chance that comes around that could lead to a goal is just so exciting. And we didn't get too many big chances, but when they were starting to arrive ever so slightly in the game, just that whole, oh, what if this goes in, what if someone makes a mistake, what if anything could happen. That's why I found it quite exciting. Not the fact it was a great game, because it was pretty poor, but more so for the fact that so much was riding on it that you could tell the two teams and their whole seasons relied on this one game, and that's why I quite enjoyed it. I thought there's so much riding on it, and you can tell that the teams understand that. And I don't think it was a poor performance from either of the two teams. I thought both played pretty solidly, but just none of them really had that edge in the final third to take a chance and kill the game off, or kill that leg off, because of course there's always a chance to come back in the second leg. But at the end of the day, no teams took advantage. I think overall, really, Leeds were the team who were rather unfortunate to not go on and nick the goal. They did score in the first half, but it was disallowed to a pretty tight offside in the build-up on Jorginho Ruta. Nonto could have had a penalty in the first half as well. Norwich had an half-decent chance in the first 45 minutes with Josh Sargent heading across wide from about 6 yards out. So there was chances within the game, but nothing too clear and obvious for either team. So it is all to play for here at Ellen Road, this stadium is hosting a Championship playoff final game for the first time since that defeat to Derby County back in 2019. And I think for Leeds United, it's going to be difficult because, of course, they want to go straight back into the Premier League. That goes without saying, but the last time they were beaten in the playoff semi-final in the 18-19 season, the season after they went on and won the division. So I think at the end of the day, of course, like I say, Premier League is the objective. They've kind of got to get there with the money that they spent over the last couple of years whilst they've been in the Premier League, and then the money they also spent this season. Obviously not huge sums altogether, but overall the last 2 or 3 years they have spent a lot of money. They need to be getting back to the top division, but at the same time, if Leeds for some reason don't get promoted this season and they have to do another year in the Championship, will they be the favourites to go on and win the league next season? probably because coming down from the Premier League will be Sheffield United, who don't have particularly the strongest side, really. I know Championship-wise they'll have a strong side, but they'll be quite depleted and lack of confidence from the Premier League campaign they've had. Burnley as well, who have to do a little bit of rebuilding under company. Again, that's the difference, I think. It's about the mindset of your teams. You know, if Sheffield United and Burnley and Luton come down again to the Championship and just park their disappointment and just focus, then I think 100% that that they can rebound and go again. So for Leeds, if they don't go up, they will have, you know, again 3-4 teams challenging with them for the division. That's why the Championship is just so relentless. It's like there's never an easy season, is there? There's always multiple teams going for the league or promotion, and then playoffs. You know, it can go anyone's way. So it's definitely a division you want to be out of. You don't want to linger in it, because if you stay in it for one season and then you have to stay in it for another, those 2 seasons can turn into 3 and it can all spiral. And like for Leeds United, how long were they in this division for? They were in it for so long. You know, they spent 16 seasons out of the Premier League from 2004 to 2020. So it does just show exactly how hard and how grueling this division can be. But they've got a chance here tonight at home, 0-0. So Leeds will definitely back themselves and fancy themselves to go on and find themselves into the playoff final. But just as we are around 4 minutes away from kickoff, we'll go through both sides, and we'll start with the home side of Leeds United. And it is one change from that first leg. Ilon Meslier, the Golden Glove winner, remains in goal. There is a change in the side, which means at right back, Archie Gray comes in. He was in the midfield for the first leg, but for the absence of Sam Byram for this second leg, Archie Gray goes in at right full back. At left back will be Junior Firpo, with the 2 centre halves of captain Ethan Ampadu and Loney from Spurs, and that is Joe Rodon. 2 other midfielders of Ilya Gruev and Glenn Kamara, with 3 behind the striker. On the right, the Championship Player of the Year, that is Crysencio Somerville, who scored just 2 goals in his last 7 appearances. On the left is Willie Nonto, who's just got 1 in his last 7 in their last league win against Middlesbrough back on the 22nd of April. In behind the striker, he did play up front on his own in the first leg, but he's been dropped back into the number 10 position. That is Jorginho Ruta, who's making his 50th appearance of the season, and leading the line through the middle. One of their summer signings for £12 million from Swansea City, and that is Joel Pirout, who's got a brilliant Championship goal-scoring record with 54 goals in 134 Championship appearances. For Norwich, they also make just one change. It's more in the attacking lineup. So the defence stays the same. It is Agnes Gunn in goal, with a back four of Jack Stacey, Shane Duffy, Ben Gibson, and Dimitrios Giannoulis at left back. 2 other midfielders which stay the same, of Marcelino Nunez and captain Kenny McLean. 3 along the forward line behind the striker. On the right is Jonathan Rowe. On the left will be Josh Sargent, making his 100th Norwich appearance. And through the middle will be Gabriel Sara, who has started every single Championship game this season, including the playoff matches. And the change falls with the Spanish winger Borja Sainz dropped to the bench, and a returning Ashley Barnes will play up front through the middle. They're number 10. He'd missed the last 2 games, Birmingham on the last day and the first leg, but the 34-year-old returns, and they'll need him firing tonight. That is for sure. Norwich City, he's got just 1 goal, Ashley Barnes, in his previous 12 against Leeds, and it was in his first game against tonight's opposition back in September 2011, so he hasn't scored against Leeds for 13 years, but that could change tonight for the former Burnley striker. But they are the 2 starting 11s tonight at Ellen Road. What a huge night. It is all level on the aggregate scoreline. It was goalless on Sunday in that first leg at Carrow Road. 2 teams that are pretty much, they're just really struggling for form. You know, Leeds have just won 1 of their last 7, 3 of their last 10. Norwich have won just 1 of their last 5. They are winless in their last 4, Norwich City. So it's not exactly like these 2 sides are in great form. And I think the only saving grace for Leeds is their home record. For Leeds United, they've played 23 matches at home, of course, this season already, and they've only lost twice, but they have both come in the last 2 home games against Southampton and Blackburn. And for Norwich, their away form is so poor. 6 wins they've got all season away from home in the league for Norwich. 3 have come in their last 13 matches. Really poor away from home, Norwich, and it's probably the most difficult ground to come to in the league. So if you look at it in that sense, you've got to favour Leeds to go out tonight and get this result through and get themselves to Wembley. But, of course, it is the playoffs and anything can happen. That is for sure. If you haven't already, make sure you do like and subscribe. We've got a hectic Sunday for commentaries as well. If you are interested, we are covering the League 2 playoff final as Crawley take on Crewe at 1 o'clock. And then we're also covering the Manchester City game against West Ham on the final day of the season. That is at 4 o'clock. So it's going to be a very exciting Sunday, but we've got a very highly anticipated Championship playoff semi-final second leg to play first here. Leeds against Norwich. The 65th time these two teams are playing each other. Norwich have only won 3 of the last 16 against Leeds. And for Leeds United, they had won 4 in a row against Norwich. 2 league doubles in the Premier League in the 21-22 campaign. And then, of course, this season they've also done the league double over Norwich, winning 3-2 away and 1-0 at home when these two ties last met in the normal season. That was on the 24th of January. A Patrick Bamford winner who will be the match winner tonight. Tonight's referee is Jared Gillett, the 37-year-old Australian. And it'll be Leeds to kick us off, kicking left to right, Norwich right to left for this first 45 minutes in this second leg. Who will take their step forward towards Wembley, where the final will be between either Leeds and Norwich or Southampton against West Brom. As Meslier goes long for Leeds, it goes all the way through into the Norwich 18-yard box, where it's in the possession of the goalkeeper, of Agnes Gunn. Scottish goalkeeper Angus Gunn, 6'5", 28-year-old, enjoying his first playoff campaign as a player, as he goes long himself beyond the halfway line, looking for Ashley Barnes. A volley away by Ethan Ampadu. He'll drop out to the far side here for Norwich, and Gabriel Sara, who completes a 1-2 with Duffy, facing his own goal and finding the goalkeeper of Gunn again, who will go long again. Beyond the halfway line up towards Sargent, header won by Rodon this time, controlled by Sara on the far side. Kamara trying to tackle him, but he won't get the ball off him, and Stacey goes forward to Sargent, turns away from Gruev, but he's tackled by Firpo, and Meslier comes out to collect the ball in his 18-yard box. And it's been a little bit of a frantic start. Little spells of possession there for both sides, but nothing too concrete. So, of course, there'll be nerves from both in this game. It's natural in the playoff position. Your whole season comes down to these 2 games. And for this tie, their whole season comes down to this game after the 0-0 draw in that first leg. And there is the Norwich head coach, David Wagner, who was promoted via the playoffs in 2017 with Huddersfield. A very historic promotion, getting them into the Premier League. As it's Leeds on the ball, midway inside their own half, with their left centre-back of Ethan Ampadu. Finding Gruev in the midfield, out to the far side here to Firpo on the halfway line, forward to Somerville. Takes a touch around Duffy, but the Irishman just gets a slight nick. No, he doesn't. Somerville with the last touch. And it's a throw-in for Norwich. I thought Duffy just kicked it away from the Dutch winger, but apparently not according to the referee. And in fairness, Somerville didn't have too many complaints, so they probably got that one right. The officials, as the throw-in goes down the line towards the halfway line, pushing the back on Barnes, not strong enough for a foul according to the referee. Bit surprised on that. That was quite the push in the back, I think, by Ampadu on Barnes there, as it's Leeds back in possession in their own half, with their captain Ampadu, just 23 years of age, brought in the summer from Chelsea for £7 million after spending the last 4 seasons on loan, going around Europe, playing in the likes of Germany, England, and 2 loan spells in Italy with Venezia and Spezia, where in fact he was relegated with Spezia last season. As Rodon on the halfway line, tripped by Nunez, and that'll be a free kick for Leeds just on the halfway line, taken quickly, and they've already worked it out to the far side here to Firpo, midway inside the Norwich half. He's got Somerville in front of him, and he'll play it to the number 10 for Leeds United, Can't quite get away from Sarro. He can in the end. Sarro almost won it, but then Somerville took it back off him. And a 1-2 of Ruta. Somerville towards goal, and he raises it over the crossbar. It's a good start from the Championship Player of the Year. It looked like Sarro had nicked the ball off him, but he was just able to wriggle around the Brazilian, and he completed a lovely 1-2 of Ruta, who flicked it back into the path of Somerville in the box. Brilliant football. And Somerville on the tight angle decided to go for the shot, but was just always rising over the crossbar. But it'll definitely be something that gets the Leeds fans up for this game. They don't want the Leeds fans to become nervy in the game, that's for sure. They want them to be loud and positive, as Gunn for Norwich sends the ball long, straight to the halfway line, controlled on his own for Ampadu. It's now with Joe Rodon in the Leeds half, as it's the home side who have been the better side so far in the opening 4 minutes of this second leg. As it's still in their own half for Ampadu, forward to Gruev. Out wide left here to Firpo. Wanting to go forward, but there's plenty of yellow shirts in his way. Both teams in their home kits again, like the first leg. As Ampadu goes long and in behind for Piru on the edge of the box. He enters the area, can't get away from the goalkeeper who drops it and then regathers it. And it almost dropped there to Ruta. Good goalkeeping though. Decent ball as well. To look for Piru in behind there by Ampadu. Well onside, got away from Gibson. But his control just kind of got away from him there, Piru, and Gunn came to collect. And collect he did. Angus Gunn. Only beaten Leeds once in his career previously. As Ampadu heads away from Rowe. And it's now Nonto on the halfway line, back towards Gray, who's got Rowe chasing him down, but he can work it to Ampadu there. He'll bring it forward, just behind the halfway line, plays a pass in between the lines for Somerville, in the central area, gets away from Nunez. Somerville plays it to his right to Ruta, on the edge of the box, on his left foot, going for the shot, deflects to Kamara, lays off for Gruev, back to Ruta. This is a good start for Leeds United. Out wide right now to Nonto, tries the 1-2 with Ruta, but intercepted there by Yanulis. And it's given away, but then one back on the edge of the box by McLean. Takes on Nonto and tries to play it to Rowe, but intercepted by Rodon. Positive defending. He slips it through towards Nonto. And it's just gone out of play. But as Rodon released it, he was tripped by Nunez. And that'll be a free kick for Leeds United. Definitely started the better of the two sides, which you would expect with Leeds being at home on this Thursday night. 16 wins this season at home in the league. Haven't won any of the last 3, though, here at Ellen Road in the Championship. Haven't won since the start of April against Hull on the Easter weekend. But just less than 6 minutes in, it's a free kick, about 30 yards out, just to the right-hand side. Definitely an angle for a shot, but probably a bit too far to really, challenge the goalkeeper. If they were to shoot here, it'd probably be quite a comfortable save. So it would definitely be more of a crossing opportunity. Norwich have got 2 players in the wall here. It's going to be the left foot of Gruev who's going to go for the shot towards goal, and it's crept in for Leeds United, and the brilliant start has resulted in a goal. Such intelligence there from Ilya Gruev, who gives Leeds United the lead in this playoff semi-final. It's the first goal in the 2 legs. He had to take something special to get that ball in the back of the net. But the left foot of the Bulgarian sends the ball beyond the goalkeeper of Gunn. In fairness, it did look like he was shaping up to cross. But then instead, he's bent it round Nunez towards that bottom right corner, and it's perfect. Bounced in front of the goalkeeper to give it that extra pace. And it's exactly what Leeds United deserve, a really positive start. And what a time for Ilya Gruev to score his first Leeds United goal. Signed in the summer from Werder Bremen, and he's finally scored for his new club. And what a time to do so. Such a smart free kick. As Ruta playing the ball through for Piru, who controls it, and he stayed onside here. Nonto overlapping Gray. Nonto nearly found, but tackled there by Yanulis. Bit of afters between Nonto and Yanulis. And it's going to be a corner on this near side for Leeds, as Nonto was tackled by Yanulis. And this Ellen Road crowd is well up for the game. What a time to score your first goal for your new club there from Gruev. Catching out the goalkeeper. I thought the shot was never on. Too far away. But because it looked for so much of the free kick like he was going to cross it, It was just too late for Gunn to react as the corner's dealt with at the near post. Cleared over as far as Nonto. Back out wide to Grev. On his left foot. Goes to the edge of the area to Somerville. Back out wide to Nonto. Across it goes into a central area here for Gray. Out to the left now to Glenn Kamara. Loads of time on the ball for him. He brings it forward about 20 yards from goal. Goes to his left to Firpo. And then back to Ampadu. It's now to Grev in the centre circle. Into Rodon. Looking out wide right to play the ball, and he finds Gray. Forward to Nonto, returns it towards Gray, but runs through for Ruta instead. Wants the 1-2 with Kamara. Kamara goes for Piru instead, but it's cleared by Duffy. Headed on for Norwich towards Sargent, who heads on himself, but can't get around Ampadu. And it's Leeds who are back in possession. Ilya Gruev. What a goal. He only scored once in his Werder Bremen career as well. He was at Werder Bremen for 8 years before leaving in the summer for Leeds United for £5 million, signing a 4-year contract. But it just looked like he was just going to cross it in. But right at the last millisecond, he just almost turned his body shape to go more across the ball to whip it into that near post. And it's just brilliant. And it's just what playoffs need sometimes, just that moment of individual quality. And he's brought that early on here as Leeds still have it. Play it to this near side to Gray. Going back towards the halfway line and playing the pass into his own half to Rodon. Forced back to Meslier on the edge of the box. There's Norwich pressing a 4-4-2 system. There's Meslier with his left foot. Plays it out to the left wing position. Looking for Piru. Header won by Duffy. Played forward by Kamara. Backed by Somerville to Firpo. It's now Kamara forward to Somerville. Bit of a loose pass and it's intercepted there by Stacey. And Norwich have it with Sarah. Inside to Barnes and around the corner towards Stacey. Cut out by Ampadu. Can't be kept in by Firpo. Throw in for Norwich just inside the Leeds half on that far side. Crazy, isn't it? You play 90 minutes of football with no goal and then within the first 7 minutes of the second leg we've already got a goal through the Bulgarian Ilya Gruev, who's making his 8th start in a row now. Really trusted in this running despite Leeds being in pretty poor form, it must be said. It's Norwich though enjoying a bit of possession for the first time in the game. If we're going to be completely honest, I've not really had anything in terms of the ball so far. Nunez, midway side his own half, goes out to the left here to number 6, Ben Gibson. He plays a left-footed ball in between the lines to find Sarah. Goes to his right to Barnes, who lets it run through towards Jack Stacey. Beats Firpo to it. In the box he goes, but it's swept up by Ampadu, who finds Firpo. Slide tackle in by Stacey, wins the ball very cleanly. And Norwich can attack. McLean in the box on the right-hand side. Goes across and it goes behind Jonathan Rowe. And it'll be dealt with on the edge of the box by Willie Nonto, who will drive forward with the ball. Passes it into Piru, who turns Gibson. He's got runs ahead of him. Piru wants to go left to Somerville. And he'll find Crescencio Somerville, who's just gone a little bit early. Couldn't hold the run. Slightly offside there. Crescencio Somerville. And it remains 1-0 to Leeds United. First time that Norwich really got forward there in the game. And it could have been a chance, but the cross along the box just went behind Jonathan Rowe, who's making back-to-back starts now for Norwich. Not scored since the 20th of January against West Brom as he was injured for a couple of months. Jonathan Rowe in the running. Sargent tackled on halfway by Ampadu, but it drops to McLean, the captain, finding Jonathan Rowe. Tripped by Rodon, and that'll be a free kick for Norwich just inside the Leeds half. So starting to grow into the game slightly here now, Norwich, after a pretty shaky start where it's been pretty much all Leeds United. Doesn't mean that Norwich have to score as McLean sends the free kick early over the top of the Leeds defence. Finds Janulis on the edge of towards the byline, but his cross has been intercepted by Gray. And it'll be a corner for Norwich. It was quick thinking, though, by Kenny McLean to find Janulis in behind. Archie Gray just fell asleep, trying to hold the Leeds high line. But he got back to recover quickly to block that ball across. Looks like it's going to be a right-footed in-swinger here from Marcelino Nunez. Making his 80th Norwich appearance. Ball into the near post, headed away by Ruta. It's a good header as well, has some distance on it. Back towards the halfway line to the Greek left-back of Janulis. Looking for Nunez, the corner taker, finds him down the line for McLean. Aiming towards the corner flag here. Trying to get the cross, and the last touch comes off McLean. It's a goal kick. I think he tried to kick it off Nonto there to win a corner, but instead he just almost miscued it. And it's gone straight out of play. for a goal kick. But it's exactly the start Leeds United would have wanted, with an early goal by Ilya Gruev from that free kick about 30 yards out, catching the goalkeeper of Angus Gunn out. As it is now, Yanulis on the ball, the left back for Norwich, inside to Rowe, but tackled strongly by Gray. Ruta's helping him out, but then he's been bundled to the ground by Rowe, not seen as a foul by the referee. McLean going to the right side to Barnes, heavy touch, giving away to Gruev, quickly forward to Piru, then to the right wing position now to Jorginho Ruta, running 1-on-1 at Nunez, going to his left to Nonto, touch isn't great, and it's took off him by Nunez, who is then pulled to the ground by Glenn Kamara. And that'll be a free kick for Norwich. Just a pull on the arm there by the Finnish central midfielder. It's now Norwich on the ball, midway inside their own half here with Ben Gibson wanting to go forward, but being forced to go back to the goalkeeper of Gunn just on the edge of the 6-yard box. Lifts it out towards the right. It was actually quite central in the end. Header won on halfway line by Ampadu. Played down by Kamara to Firpo at left back. And they restart with their back line here with Ethan Ampadu on the ball. First ever time he's experienced in Championship football, Ethan Ampadu, which surprises me with the amount of time he's been out on loan away from Chelsea. Of course, now this is a permanent move away from Chelsea Football Club for Ampadu. But yeah, never spent a loan spell in the Championship, which, yeah, just was a little bit of a surprise for me. But it's not been the most, as Ampadu goes long here to the edge of the box. Duffy heads away, controlled by Stacey, who turns and clears it down the line. A lifted ball towards the halfway line where Ampadu heads it down, looking for Somerville, who just overruns his touch there, and it'll be Shield. It won't be shepherded out by Barnes because he'll be knocked to the ground. It'll be a free kick for Norwich instead on that right hand side, about 15 yards inside the Leeds half, so it's quite some way from the box, but they can definitely launch it in if they want to. But decide to just go back in their own half and restart with Shane Duffy instead. It's now Nunez in the midfield. Going across to the left centre half of Gibson. Laying it off to the goalkeeper, Gunn. Plenty of time on the ball here for the former Manchester City goalkeeper. Going to the edge of the box to Nunez. Finding Gibson in the 18-yard box. Yanulis, the left back, clearing forward. It's not very good with his right foot, and he's played forward by Rodon to Piru. Tackled, though, by Nunez. It's a key challenge, and Gibson can take away on the edge of the box. Finding Sarah inside into a central area for Sargent. Laying it out to the right now to Stacey, as Norwich look to try and attack if possible. Stacey going to go for the switch towards Jonathan Rowe. Looks like he may have overhit that, and he has. Straight out of play for a goal kick. Thumbs up, though, by Rowe, who likes the idea, but was just never going to reach it there. Jonathan Rowe, the 21-year-old, current under-21 international for England. As there was a lot of discussion between Somerville and Gruev before that free kick was taken, which he scored from. Such good technique to send that towards the near post there. But, you know, to have the idea to do it, but actually pull it off, it shows real skill from Ilya Gruev. It's now Jonathan Rowe for Norwich inside his own half, running away from Gray. Nunez takes it off him, so Norwich can keep the ball. It's now with Kenny McLean, the captain, turning away from Piru. Good press from Leeds so far, forcing Norwich back more often than not, even though they want to try and go forward. Jonathan Rowe on this near side. Has the ball in, it's more of a left-back position here, Jonathan Rowe. That's how deep he's having to go back to try and get the ball here for his side. We're 18 minutes in. Leeds still are leading this game by a goal to nil. Ben Gibson forward to Yanulis. Turns away from Gurev and tripped by the Bulgarian. Be a free kick for Norwich City just inside their own half. As they've definitely settled into the game after conceding the goal, which is a good thing, because when you concede an early goal in a game like this, in an atmosphere like this, you can almost cave in a little bit. But Norwich have just been able to keep their head underwater, and as long as they keep this game at 1-0, they'll always have a slight chance to try and equalise. But if it goes to 2, then they've got a bit of a mountain to climb as a crossfield ball goes straight out of play, nowhere near the intended target there, that pass. And the intended target was Jack Stacey for Ben Gibson. And he's giving away a throw-in for Leeds, just giving possession back to the home side. It's great. Down the line for Nonto. Bit of time on the ball here for the Italian as he can run at Ben Gibson. He goes for an early cross, though, towards the far post to Joel Piroux! And that is fantastic! What an assist from Nonto. And the man who's returned back into the starting 11 for this second leg, Joel Piroux, with the guided header beyond the goalkeeper of Gunn. And 20 minutes in, Leeds have a 2-goal advantage. And they are simply destroying Norwich early on. Ellen Road is known as a cauldron. And Norwich are being swallowed up here. That is so, so good. Gray on the halfway line, goes down the right flank for Nonto, about midway side his own half, sees Piroux making a run towards the far post, and he goes for an early delivery into the 6-yard box, where Piroux, all alone, has time to win the header and just send it beyond the goalkeeper, with Gunn coming out for it, making himself as big as possible. But still, Piroux was able to get it under his left arm. Duffy couldn't clear off the line. And we've had 2 simply sublime goals early on in this second leg. And it's Leeds 2, Norwich 0. And it looks like Leeds United could be heading back to Wembley. Brilliant goal. So, so good. What a cross from Nonto. And the header from Joel Piroux. What a sign. And he's turned out to be from Swansea in the summer. Was on the bench for the first leg, Joel Piroux, after scoring in the last game of the season against Southampton. But he's back in tonight. Scored his 14th goal of the season for Leeds in the Championship. He'd only scored 2 in his last 15 since mid-February, but he's on the score sheet again tonight in the most important game of the season. Leeds supporters have got their flags and their scarves waving around. And Norwich simply just cannot handle this Leeds intensity. And after a first leg which saw them all level at 0-0, Leeds have quickly got the advantage at home. And it's going to be a big ask now for Norwich City to try and turn this one around now. As we're back underway, Norwich on the ball with their left centre half here of Gibson into a central area, finding Ashley Barnes, who dropped in for the ball, and he sends it through here for Sargent, who beats Ampadu to it. Sargent's in for Norwich, lifted over the goalkeeper, big save by Meslier. Huge save. They've got to stay concentrated here, Leeds. Really well worked by Barnes, who just dropped into a midfield role to get the ball, and he played it through for Sargent, who beat Ampadu to it. Slid in, Ampadu went through his legs. Sargent away in the box. He's just tried to lift it over Meslier, who had his right arm up above his head to stop the ball going in the back of the net. Really good goalkeeping from the Frenchman. And after going 2-0 down, it's a chance that Sargent really had to take. But they have got a corner. In swinger, near post. Header again won by Ruter. And it's now to Yanulis, who goes back to the halfway line to Stacey. And then back once more to the goalkeeper, a Gunn. And it's well defended there by Leeds, who almost conceded immediately after scoring the second. Gunn, long ball forward towards Jonathan Rowe, who can't control, but he's offside anyway as the ball was played forward. And that is why he is the Golden Glove winner for this season, Elon Meslier. 19 goals in the normal season, of course 20 championship clean sheets if you include that playoff semi-final first leg. But there's the warning sign for Leeds. They know exactly what Ashley Barnes can do. He's not just an out-and-out striker. He can also link up the play as well. You know, dropping into deeper roles to play his teammates through and behind, like he just did there. Leeds have it in the middle of the park, in their own half with Gruev. Back to Roden, then back once more here to Meslier. Who play it to the left centre half here of Ampadu, just inside the 18-yard box. Meslier again. To the right here. To Rodon, forward to Ruta. Touch isn't great, and McLean comes in, but Ruta turns him and takes on Rowe. Ruta, brilliant work here from Ruta. He gets beyond a third Norwich player. Still with Jorginho Ruta in a right wing position in the final third. Trying to enter the box, he's overran it and then tripped over Giannoulis. And in the end, it's a free kick that's gone against Jorginho Ruta. But it's brilliant running from the Frenchman, who collected an assist in this fixture in the away game against Norwich at Carrow Road in the middle of October. He's only got one in his last 20 championship games, Ruta. But sometimes numbers are a bit deceiving, because that's what he can do during a game, Jorginho Ruta. Drive with the ball, take it forward, really cover yardage with the football. And he's just done that there. Unfortunately, didn't materialise into anything, but just that positive momentum of getting forward can lift the crowd as Norwich come forward with their captain McLean. Goes out to the left here to Rote, who's chasing it down ahead of Gray, and he'll get there ahead of Gray. Tries to go inside there, but he's been doubled up on there by Gray and Nonto. Which now leads to bring it away with Nonto, getting beyond one player and the second, now beyond the halfway line. Nonto bringing it forward in the central area, got runs left and right. Nonto keeps going, brought to the ground by Nunez. Not given as a foul by the referee, went down too easily there, the Italian. And it's back in Norwich possession in their left back position with Dimitros Giannoulis, the 28-year-old Greek international. Did miss their March international break when they lost in the European Championship qualifying final. Fortunately, Giannoulis wasn't a part of that. Injured at the time. Only returning back for the first leg of this semi-final. As for Leeds United, they have never been promoted via the playoffs. This is their 6th appearance in the playoffs. Never been promoted. Leeds have lost their last 2 playoff semi-final ties back in 2009 and 2019. So it's not had, they don't have a great history in the playoffs anyway, but most recently they haven't really been reaching the final as Grev wins it back. And it's now Glenn Kamara, 25 yards out from goal. Wants the 1-2 with Somerville and he makes it work. Kamara in the box. On his right foot, plays it through for Somerville. Angles tight, goes for the pull back. It deflects behind for a corner. On this far side, Leeds have got a corner. And you feel like a third goal will kill this game. Norwich need to be careful because the game is running away from them rather rapidly. As they go short from the corner. It's now with Kamara. Through for Firpo. Touches it in for Somerville. Takes a heavy touch and tries to get it across goal again. But it's deflected behind again by Gibson this time. And it'll be another Leeds United corner. They just seem on it tonight, Leeds. Like I say, not won in their last 3 games at home. Lost their last 2 on the bounce here against Blackburn and Southampton. And it's Firpo and Barnes, bit of shoving and pushing, and Barnes has ended up on the deck. Just need to watch the anger here and the emotions. They need to keep them in check. Both sides, really. Leeds need to stay calm to keep the lead that they've got. And Norwich have got to stay calm, because if they start getting angry, then, it's going to be harder for them to try and get a result in this game, as they are already 2 down. So another corner for Leeds. It's on the far side. It's taken short again by Somerville. This time finding Ruta. Running at Giannoulis. Tackled by the Greek fullback. And it'll be another corner again on the same side for Leeds United. You've now scored 95 goals this season, Leeds, in all competitions. Conceded 49. 43 of them in the Championship. This time it's going to be a direct cross into the box by Somerville. It's a deeper one to the far post, punched away by Gunn. It'll drop out towards this right-hand side here for Grev, who returns it towards the halfway line to keep possession. And it's now with Archie Gray. Just keeping the ball for the moment. And then lifting it down the line for Ruta. Tackled there by Gibson, who slides in. Throwing for Leeds on this near side. To be taken by their right back for tonight, Archie Gray, who made his 50th appearance for the club in that first leg. So, so versatile, being able to play anywhere in the centre of midfield. And then also at right back as well. It just gives Farke so many options of what midfield duo he wants to use as those two holding midfielders. There's a header away by Stacey at right back for Norwich, controlled by Ampadu. It reaches Kamara, it returns it to Ampadu down the line for Firpo, back inside to Kamara. It's good football by Leeds as they keep it away from the Norwich press. They're now in their own half here with Rodon. Finding his Welsh teammate of Ampadu. Forward for Somerville, laying it off into Kamara. And then back to Ampadu. Norwich really struggling to get a foothold in this game at the moment. Norwich's last win against Leeds was here at Ellen Road back in February 2019, which was a big moment for Norwich in terms of them winning the Championship that season, being promoted to the Premier League before being relegated automatically, but then coming back to the Championship and winning it again. Both of those titles under Daniel Farke. As Leeds have the ball on this near side. Going back into their own half here through Gray, finding Rodon as he was being closed down there by Jonathan Rowe. It's Gruev going back into his own half here to Ampadu. It's now Rodon out to this near side to Nonso. Time on the ball for the Italian, bringing it towards the final third, finding Gray. It's now Ruta, gives it away, trying to find Gray again, intercepted by Rowe. It's now McLean, kicked out of play by Nonto, and it'll be a throw in a left back position for Norwich. So we've played half an hour here. 2-0 to Leeds. It looks like they'll be taking the first spot available at Wembley in the Championship playoff final. Cleared away for Norwich. Down the left-hand side. Header won though by Rodon. Controlled by Nunez, who can flick it through for Sara to keep it away from Somerville. It's now Jack Stacey on the halfway line. Having to go back though into Sara. It's now Nunez in the centre of midfield. Across to the left centre-back of Gibson. Goes forward with the ball. Finds a pass towards Sargent. Tackled by Ampadu. Not seen as a foul by the referee. It's now Nonso. Going back here into Rodon to keep possession. Kamara in the centre circle. Wanting to go forward. Slips on the ball but keeps it away from Nunez. But tackled by Sargent. Loose ball drops towards Ruta, who just beats McLean to it. It's Leeds on the ball with their left centre-half here of Ampadu. Across to his partner here of Rodon. Looking down the right-hand side. He's going to drive the ball forward here and play a pass to Ruta, who finds a bit of space in between the lines, but he overruns a touch, but then gets it back off Nunez. Ruta to Somerville, edge of the box. Firpo's overlapping. He'll find Firpo, who will deliver a cross in towards the near post. Comes off Piru, deflects then off Duffett. And a corner kick it will be for Leeds. Just really good football. Easy on the eye. Finding so much space. Those attacking Leeds players in between the midfield and defensive line of Norwich. And Piru was looking for his second there, but it was well dealt with by Norwich at the near post. In-swinging delivery by Somerville towards Rodon with the header. It's just wide, about 8 yards out there. Rodon aiming for the far corner. Never scored in the Championship, Joe Rodon. But just glancing that a yard or two wide in the end. Wonder what will be next for Joe Rodon. His contract at Spurs expires next season. So he won't be available yet on a free, but Leeds might want to make it permanent if they get promoted. There's a long ball forward for Norwich, aims for Rowe, but he can't quite get away from Gray, who defends against him really well. And he brings the ball forward for Leeds, still with Archie Gray, laying it off to his right to Nonto. And they just relax the play, Leeds, as they go into Ethan Ampadu, the captain, returning it here to Kamara. Out wide left for Firpo on halfway. Back with Kamara again. Ampadu. Across to Rodon. Loads of time on the ball here for Rodon. Finding Gray at right back. And back though into Rodon to keep possession here. As for Leeds United, they have only won 2 of their 10 games with the highest amounts of possession they've had all season. So usually when they're allowed to have the ball, they struggle to find enough goals to win matches. But of course today they've had I think a majority of the ball, and they've dealt with that pretty well, scoring 2 goals in 20 minutes. As it's now with Nunez on halfway for Norwich, going back into his own half here into McLean. Finds his midfield partner of Nunez. Trying to find a player in space, and he does find, he looks for McLean, but it's intercepted by Gruev, and it's now forward to Somerville on the left wing, back into Kamara, forward for Piru, one over here of Nonto, as he looks for him, Nonto in the box, right-footed, goes for the shot, but it's straight at the keeper. Easy save in the end for Angus Gunn, but just too sloppily given away there by Norwich, just inside the Leeds half, and they broke quickly. Piru with the pass to Nonto, and his first touch wasn't great, slightly under his feet, not really out of it. Just a bit of a timid shot in the end, straight at the goalkeeper. And, if Leeds get a third, as we've mentioned already, that has got to be game over, surely. Even 2-0 might be a bit too much for Norwich to turn this one around. It's with the goalkeeper, Angus Gunn. Goes forward and long. It's a high ball beyond the halfway line. Looking for Sargent, who heads it out wide left towards Barnes. But he gets dealt with there by Gray, who turns with the ball and goes down the right-hand side here, spinning away from Nunez and finding Ruta, wanting the 1-2, can't complete it, intercepted by Nunez in the end. And it's now with Gibson at the back for Norwich, finding the left full-back here of Yanulis. Tries to turn back away from Nonto, tripped there by the Italian. A bit of free kick for Norwich, very, very apologetic there. Willie Nonto, who realised he just caught his man late. So it will be a free kick for Norwich, which they take quickly. And they're in their 18-yard box with McLean, finding the goalkeeper a Gun. Lifts it to the left, controlled by Yanulis, but it falls to Nonto instead, who slides in, kicks it back to Gurev, who works it to Gray, lifts it down the line for Ruta, who will try and control this ball down in the end, and he can keep it away from Nunez. It's brilliant from Ruta. Oh, it's so good. He overruns it though towards Sargent, but Kamara helps him out with a side tackle. And Leeds somehow keep it there. As Ruta looks like he may have hurt himself, actually. As Gurev goes to the left here to Somerville. He's got Junior Firpo in support. The pass is a bit short. Stacey comes across to slide in. And it's now Norwich in possession as they try and attack down the right-hand side. Stacey, high ball forward towards Barnes. Brings it down really well. Slips, though, on the ball. And Barnes can keep it for now. Rowe takes over and he gets tripped, does he? No, he doesn't. Seen as a dive. And that'll be a booking. Jonathan Rowe. Yellow carded for a dive on the edge of the box there. Barnes brought down that high ball forward really well, but then just slipped and he got the ball stuck under his body quite literally. It ended up being worked to Jonathan Rowe, took it over, and yes, an obvious dive. Really well seen by the referee. Yeah, Gray went to put a foot in and then stopped himself of doing it. And Rowe was trying to wait for the contact. It never came. That's really good refereeing by Jared Gillett. It was usually officiating on Premier League games. He was the ref for Tottenham 2, Burnley 1 at the weekend. But he's done really well there to see Jonathan Rowe diving on the edge of the box. Like Gray went in to tackle him and then almost immediately pulled out. And Rowe thought that contact was coming. It never came. And another half chance for Norwich. Not really, I wouldn't even say, maybe a quarter chance really. Never even entered the Leeds box there with that ball forward. As the winner of this tie, which is looking likely to be Leeds, but who knows, will take on Southampton or West Brom, and then the Championship playoff final is on the 26th of May, which is not this Sunday, but the Sunday after. And we will be bringing live commentary of that game on this channel, as we are starting to just commentate on quite big games now, really. There's not many games within midweeks until the Euros, so yeah, well, there won't be as many commentaries in the next few weeks as there has been in the last couple of. It's usually been 3 or 4 commentaries a week in the last however many months, but due to the lack of games being played now, as it's the end of the season, it does mean we'll have fewer commentaries to bring to the channel. But next week we've got Atalanta Leverkusen, the Europa League final. Then we're doing the Championship playoff final on the Sunday. So only 2 next week. But they are 2 big games, Europa League final and the Championship playoff final, as Giannoulis' ball cut out by Rodon. And it's now with Grev on this near side in his own half. Just settling the ball down here, not trying to rush the ball forward. Trying to be very methodical with their possession. Leeds United not wanting to just give the ball away immediately when they win it back. As it's for the left back, Firpo. Keeping it away from Sarah. Slips, but keeps his foot in just about. And he finds Ampadu. Back into Firpo. Looking to go forward with the ball. Finding Grev in the central area. Back into Firpo, who's being closed down there by Sargent. So we've got 6 minutes left of this first half. Favourite YouTuber, thank you very much for the compliment. As Kamara got Sargent in front of him, but he just curls it across the half here to Rodon at right centre back. And it's now Kamara again to bring it forward. Just beyond the halfway line. 1-2 with Somerville, who sends him back into his own half with a bit of a loose pass there. It's now Ampadu. On the ball, not being pressed by a Norwich player. And neither is Firpo, who's now on the ball at left back. Still in the Leeds half at the moment. That's Kamara. Finds Grev, having to shield the ball away from Nunez. Then Kamara goes forward to Piru, who gets away from McLean and Duffy. And Piru is away on the left-hand side in the final third. Just outside the box, squares it towards Somerville. Will it drop for him? He plays it across. Ruta with the shot! And he launches it off the crossbar into the back of the net. And surely now, Leeds are Wembley bound for the Championship playoff final. It's been complete domination. It's been an absolute obliteration of this Norwich side, as their season and campaign are crumbling before their eyes. And Jorginho Ruta finally back on the score sheet for Leeds. His last goal in the Championship was on the 17th of February against Plymouth. He hadn't scored in his previous 14. That now changes for the Frenchman. And it's Ruta with the goal. It started with Pirro on the halfway line, getting beyond 2 Norwich players down that left-hand side, allowed to bring the ball forward. Gibson didn't get across quick enough. The cross went in, deflected off the back of McLean to Somerville, who was on the ground about 8 yards out towards the near post. He just kicked it across the box, hoping that someone could get on the end of it, and it went to the far post to Ruta, who beat Giannoulis to it. He tried to slide across to block the shot. It was actually kicked across by Duffy. It wasn't even Somerville who got that touch. It was Duffy who played it across goal. And Ruta absolutely powered that ball past the goalkeeper, off the underside of the crossbar and into the back of the net. And what a first half for Leeds, who have nearly already guaranteed their place in the final at Wembley in 10 days' time. At Ellen Road, after 42 minutes of football, it's Leeds 3, Norwich City 0. Scary stuff from Leeds. It's exactly a performance that you'd want to have going into a playoff final. Of course, they're not there yet, but if they do, they can take so many positives after having such a negative end to the season. And look at all those scarves being waved around at Allen Road. It's some sight. As Norwich deliver a ball into the box towards Duffy, who heads it across, looking towards Sargent, headed away by Piru. It's dropped towards Nonto, who catches Giannoulis in the face for sure. The referee didn't see it though, and Leeds want to counter. Somerville playing the ball through for Nonto, who's all alone into the 18-yard box. Can he shoot? Yes, he can. It's saved though by Gunn and cleared away by Nunez. Big chance for Nonto. Did look like he definitely caught the face of Giannoulis. He was holding it. It looked like his nose, but the referee played advantage. Not necessarily a head injury. It was more his face. But Nonto, again, just not quite getting his touches right there. Just not quite getting it out of his feet enough. And as he'd shot towards goal, it's quite poor in the end. But it looks like it's only going to get worse here for Norwich. I mean, they don't want to be negative, of course, but it's looking very unlikely they're going to actually get back into this game. They've not really done anything going forward. They had one big chance with Sargent as soon as they went 2-0 down, it was straight after, about 20th minute. Sargent played through by Barnes, got in behind Ampadu. He's one-on-one with Meslier, tried to lift it over him, but Meslier put his arm up and saved it. But bar that, Norwich have done very little. That's the only shot they've had on goal in the game so far. And it does look like Leeds United under Daniel Farke will be reaching the playoff final. They're having a little bit of a mini team talk here. Gibson, Barnes and Duffy, three of the more experienced players, trying to do something about this absolute mess that they're in at the moment. That's it. We're going to get back underway in the final third with a throw-in on this near side with Gray. As Yanulis is going to be allowed to enter the pitch again very shortly. Just receiving some treatment there after that knock to the face by Nonto. Back in the Leeds half with possession, pressed by Norwich to force themselves back into their own half here. It's with Joe Rodon finding Grueff. It's just slightly in more of a right-back position. Gray is wider, and he'll use Gray here. Yanulis still receiving treatment. Gray goes inside towards Ruta, cut out by Gibson, but straight to the feet of Grueff, who gets the ball back from Gray. And he goes across towards the left-hand side here to Ampadu, just in front of the centre circle, finding Firpo. Just plays the ball behind Somerville, and he can't keep it in. There'll be a throw-in for Norwich with their right-back of Jack Stacey. Rowe surrounded by three Leeds shirts, and he loses the ball. Grev can't work it to a teammate, though. It's now with Yanulis to Barnes, returning it to Yanulis, who'll get around Gray, trying to go forward. 4 minutes added on here after the first 45 minutes have been played. Yanulis forward to Barnes, using his body to keep it away from Grev. Tries to slot it through towards Rowe, where it's been cut out by Kamara. But as the ball was played through towards Rowe, he was offside again. I think that's 3 times now that Jonathan Rowe has been caught in an offside position. We've got 3.5 minutes they've added on time to play. Leeds are 3-0 up, and it's pretty much job done. Can't see Norwich getting back in this, who have got a horrific away record as it is this season in the Championship. Just 6 wins on the road all season, 3 in their last 13. They did lose 5 of their opening 9 away games. Not been good enough. They have only lost 2 of their last 11, though, in the league, but not really a lot of wins in that run. As it's just Leeds comfortably in possession in their own half with Rodon. Going back to the edge of the box here to Meslier. It's now to Ampadu. Into the Norwich half with a pass to Piru. Can't be knocked off the ball by Nunez, but tackled by Sara, but straight back to Piru as it deflects off a Norwich defender. He's got Firpo making a run ahead of him. Piru turns the other way and goes back here to Kamara. He's going to try and go forward, but ends up going backwards as that's the best pass on to keep the ball. Somerville to Nonto. Through for Pirro on the edge of the box. Tries to play it through Firpo. It works the second time. Firpo crosses low towards Nonto. Played out towards Ruta, who can't get the ball in the net. Blocked off the line by Yanulis. How is it not 4? Leeds are all over this Norwich side. The Canaries are all over the place. Pirro with the ball through to Firpo, who's been attacking really well down that left-hand side from fullback. And it fell to Root, who went around the goalkeeper, but there was about 3 Norwich shirts on the line. And one of them blocked his right-footed shot towards goal, and it was a sliding challenge there by Dimitros Yanulis. Ruta looking for his second of the night, but just couldn't quite scramble it over the line in the end. As Gruev, left-footed, crosses into the near post, had a one there, I think by Junior Firpo, but nowhere near towards goal at that near post. That'll be a Norwich goal kick with 90 seconds left of this first half to play at Ellen Road, where it looks like Leeds will be heading to Wembley. Last time that they reached Wembley in a playoff final was in League One in 2008, where they were defeated. As we've mentioned before already, they'd never actually been promoted through the playoffs, Leeds United. As they've already won it back from the goal kick, Norwich went long and they couldn't keep it in the Leeds half. It's now Archie Gray in the Norwich half on this near side trying to attack. But just going back to Rodon on halfway, not wanting to give anything away at the end of this half. Leeds, that's for sure. They don't want to give it sloppily and allow Norwich a chance to maybe try and get one back before the break. There's Kamara on the halfway line. No one pressing him in a yellow shirt. 30 seconds left to play of this first half. Kamara towards the far side. Playing it to Somerville. Just drifted into a more number 10 role here, which also reflects the number on the back of his shirt. As it looks like Leeds are just killing the clock here to get in at half-time, 3-0 up in their own half here. A road on. Sargent slowly trying to get out to press him, but just too slow in the end. Now Meslier on the edge of the box. We've played the 4 minutes. Meslier sends the ball long and in behind the Norwich defence. He'll be given chase to by Piru, but he'll run out of play for a throw-in. Still no whistle yet from the referee. Until now. And there is half-time at Ellen Road. It is Leeds United 3. Norwich City 0. It's been a triumphant first half for Leeds, who have got themselves probably the biggest advantage they could have asked for, really, if we're talking realistically. And the first goal came in the 7th minute. It's his first goal for the club, and that is Ilya Gruev. About 30 yards out, whipped it round a one-man wall of Norwich, who thought he was going to cross it, but he switched up last minute, sent it towards the bottom right corner, and it bounced off the turf beyond Gunn, who was caught out by the smart free kick, and it gave Leeds the perfect start. And just before the 20th minute, Joel Piru made it 2. An early cross from Nonto from the right-hand side, found Piru at the far post, who headed it beyond the goalkeeper, and it couldn't be cleared off the line by Duffy, and Leeds had doubled their advantage. And just before the break there, Jorginho Ruta made it 3. It was a shot at the far post, about 6 yards out, thumping it off the crossbar, scoring his first goal after not scoring his previous 14 games. It's his first goal in the Championship since mid-February against Plymouth. And it's a perfect time for Ruta to get back on the score sheet, as it's given Leeds a 3-goal advantage after the first half here. It ends after the first 45 of this second leg. It is Leeds United 3, Norwich City 0. I mean, I knew it was going to be a difficult game for Norwich. The fact that Ellen Road usually is a very hard place to come to. Not very recently. Leeds haven't won here in their last 3, and they've lost their last 2. But throughout the whole season, they've pretty much been unbeaten until the hiccup at the end of the season. So I knew it was going to be difficult for Norwich, but I didn't quite think they'd be played off the park like they have. Leeds have really turned up to the occasion here, and like I said, got themselves 3 goals. And defended well. The only chance they conceded was straight after the second goal. A ball was played through by Barnes to Sargent. Ampadu went to try and meet the ball, but he went under his leg and played Sargent through, entered the box, 1-on-1 with the goalie. And Meslier was able to save the attempted dink finish from Sargent. But other than that, Norwich have done nothing. It's been all Leeds. It's been the perfect first half performance, and they have a lead. A big lead going into the second half. I'm going to quickly go for half time, and I'll be back for the second half. So in 15 minutes, make sure you come back, and we'll be covering the second half of this semi-final second leg. Because at the moment, at Ellen Road at half time, it's Leeds United 3, Norwich City 0. Oh, we are back for the second half of this Championship playoff semi-final second leg, as Leeds currently hold a 3-goal advantage against Norwich after a very dominant first half display. It was a display of a team who only had the mindset of winning this game. It seemed like there was never a doubt in the Leeds players' mind that they were not going to win this game. They were on the front foot immediately, got that early goal in the 7th minute with Gruev from that very clever free kick. But even after that, the first goal, they didn't decide to sit on it. They just went again. And, 3 goals up, that is something quite scary in a first half of a second leg of a playoff semi-final after such a cagey first. But I think at the same time, I think you've got to understand that, Leeds were probably playing not playing for a draw, because of course if the win was available for them, they would have gone and tried to have won the game on Sunday. But I think they knew if they could just get it level as a minimum coming into this leg, then they'd fancy themselves going on to win the tie. And obviously they've seen it through here for a 0-0. And have taken the home advantage to a whole new level. If we're going to be completely honest, it's absolutely they've wiped the floor with this Norwich side in this first half. I mean, it would be one of the great comebacks of playoff history if Norwich can turn it around in terms of the circumstances, being away from home against a team like Leeds, who have got the atmosphere and just quite simply got the players to find themselves in the final. I mean, it's a ridiculous starting 11 that Leeds have got. That's not talking down Norwich. They've also got a very strong Championship side. Would this team be strong enough for the Premier League? Probably not. Is the Leeds team strong enough for the Premier League? Possibly. They could definitely put up a fight, that is for sure. But yeah, Leeds have certainly shown their absolute just... I don't even know what they were just... I don't know. It seemed like confidence they were playing with, which is strange with the fact they are on such a poor run at the moment. Leeds with 2 wins in their last 9. So Norwich are going to make a half-time change, and someone, in all honesty, has been pretty non-existent in the tie. Josh Sargent, the American, is off on his 100th. Is it 100th for Josh Sargent? Yes, it is. His 100th appearance for Norwich. He's replaced by Borja Sainz. So Sainz will go out wide on the left. But Sargent did have a chance in the first leg. A header from 6 yards, put it so far wide of the post. And he had a chance after Leeds' second goal in the 20th minute, 1-1 with Melier, and lifted it over him, but it was saved. And he's not been in the game a lot. And with those 2 chances, he just never seemed confident, really, that he was going to score. So, it's understandable why they brought off Josh Sargent, despite him scoring 16 Championship goals this season. He'd only scored 2 in his last 8, both in April against Swansea and Wednesday. So it is a change for Norwich as they'll try and turn this game around. I mean, I can't see it, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see, as it will be Norwich 2 kickers off kicking left to right. And Leeds right to left, as again those supporters have the scarves above their heads. Just makes such a great look as Leeds try and maybe add a 4th, go for a 5th as well. I don't think they'll stop, in all honesty. I mean, they've got to manage the game, of course, and understand that, they don't want to go for more goals and maybe give one away. They have got to be solid defensively, but they were scaring the Norwich team, if we're going to be completely honest, in that first half. Is Norwich on the ball? Yanulis, the left back, forward to Barnes, who's bundled off the ball by Ampadu, but fairly according to the referee. And it's now with Ruta, 25 yards out, on his left foot, playing the pass for Somerville into the space for Piru with the shot. That is a brilliant save from Gunn. His side might already be out of the game, but if they're not, then they're certainly just about still in it. Piru should have got his second. Such good interchanging football there by Leeds United as they're still on the ball here in the final third. Kamara with it. Somerville on the left wing now, keeping it away from Stacey. And going back here to Ethan Ampadu and across now to Gruev. What a chance that is for Joel Piru, who scored his first ever goal against Norwich in the first half. Should have had a second there. Good save from Gunn. It was pretty much right at him, though, from the Dutch striker. But almost a 4th instantly for Leeds. Now it's in a right back position with Grev. He's got Gray in front of him, but he goes inside to Ruta, returns it to Grev, and then back he goes to Rodon. Grev caught as he released it there by McLean. There'll be a free kick on the right hand side here for Leeds United, who have pretty much started the second half as they ended the first. Ruta had it, played it across towards the central area, finding Somerville, touched it straight into Piru, and it's straight at gun. If Piru puts it any side of the goalkeeper, it goes in, but he's hit it right at the keeper. That's a really bad miss. It's as simple as that. It's not being harsh, it's not a good save in all honesty. It's just a really bad miss. He's hit it straight at the goalkeeper who didn't have to move for it. It just bounced off him and went away. As it's Melier on the ball in the 18-yard box here for Leeds. Goes to his right centre-back here of Rodon. And down the line towards Nonto. Can't quite keep it in. Throwing for Norwich just inside the Leeds half. On that far side, it'll be taken by Yanulis, the left-back. Taken quickly, thrown into their own half here to Gibson. It's now with the number 24 of Shane Duffy. Forward to the halfway line to Rowe in a more central area. Turns away from Kamara, but then tackled by him from behind. And that'll be a free kick for Norwich, given away there by Glenn Kamara. Definitely, if Norwich want any chance of getting back in this game, they do need an early goal. I know that's really obvious, but sometimes as a commentator, you've just got to announce the obvious, really, because you've got to just lay down the honest truths of the game. Norwich have not done a lot going forward, so it's going to be hard for them to score in the game overall, never mind 3 of them. So if they are going to do a comeback, they need to score pretty quickly. As it's with Marcelino Nunez in between the 2 centre-backs on the ball. Goes to the right side here to Duffy. McLean out to the right back, Stacey. Forward here for Sarah. Not really been in the game, the Brazilian, but he drives inside and plays a pass here to Sainz. Space on the right, and he plays it to McLean in the box on his left foot. Will he shoot? He's getting around Ruta, and then I don't know if that's a shot or a cross. It's spinned and sliced out for a throw-in on that far side. He was knocked off balance, in fairness, as he shot there, McLean, hence why it went so far wide and it curled out for a throw-in in the end. Just slightly off balance there from a slight shove from Ruta. So it's a Gray throw-in at right back for Leeds. Like I say, such a family-orientated relationship between the Greys and Leeds United. Archie Gray, of course, playing now for them, but his dad Andy played for them, his granddad Frank played for them, his uncle Eddie played for Leeds as well, so he's just continuing the generations of Leeds United, of Greys playing for Leeds United. There's a ball high in the air. It's a header won by Ampadu on the halfway line, flicked over the head of Sarah by Kamara to Somerville. Tries to feed it towards Ruta, drops to Piru in the end, then Ruta plays it through for Somerville. Just overhits the pass though. And that'll be a goal kick for Norwich. When they're in their flow though, it is really dangerous when you've got Ruta and Piru and Somerville and Nonto all linking up together. It's hard to stop. As Yanulis has been stopped on the halfway line there by Rodon. Down the right wing position here with Nonto. Inside to Ruta, turns out and then plays it down the line for Gray, who's attacking from right back. In the final third, he goes for a cross in. It's a brilliant cross. Somerville with the header. It's just gone wide of the top left corner. Not the worst attempt in the world. Really good cross, though, by Archie Gray, who's now started 11 of the last 12 games for Leeds. The game he didn't start was the last day of the season in that 2-1 defeat to Southampton. Really good ball in there by Gray towards the penalty spot. Somerville winning the header on Stacey. It wasn't too far wide in the end. As the ball's dropped to Kamara, backwards headed by Nunez. Somerville in the box, onto his left foot. Duffy showing him wide. Somerville will shoot, and it's saved by the legs of the goalkeeper Gunn. Just seems like a matter of time now until Leeds get a fourth and definitely officially wrap up this semi-final. As a commentator, you've got to kind of leave it open for the imagination of what could happen, but sometimes you've just got to understand that not all comebacks can come to fruition in the end. It's going to be a Somerville in-swinger, right-footed. Doesn't seem like there is a short option on. So it looks like he will just cross this straight into the box here. So one towards the near post, comes off the back of Junior Firpo and behind for a goal kick, quite far wide in the end there by the Dominican Republic left back, brought in from Barcelona in July 2021 for just under £13 million. Turns 28 in August, Firpo. Like I say, former Barcelona left back, played 41 times for Barcelona, Firpo. Not a bad amount of appearances. His gun goes long, can't find Stacey, getting forward from right back, headed away on the halfway line by Ampadu. Drops here for Sarah, who gives it away after a challenge from Firpo. And it's now in the Leeds half with Ampadu, being forced to go back towards Meslier. Ashley Barnes will close him down here, but Mellier's got time on the ball to take a touch and clear it forward with his right foot. It's a high one out to the Leeds right, where the head has been won by Gibson. He'll be kept in by Yanulis, finding Sainz, who will drive away from Pirou. And then tripped by Ruta. Yep, sliding challenge in by the Frenchman. Definitely a free kick for sure. Certainly didn't get the ball. And I think he's made the right decision there, the referee, Jared Gillett. Yeah, Sainz just tripped, didn't get the ball. Good decision there by the referee. As Norwich restart on the halfway line with Nunez. Going out to this near side now to Stacey, the right back. Being forced to go back to Duffy, now to Nunez, being closed down by Pirou. It's now with Ben Gibson at left centre-back. Towards the edge of his 18-yard box, out wide left to Yanulis. First time ball forward, McLean can help it onto Sainz, and then returns it to McLean. Now Sarah in the centre circle, turning away from Kamara, but running straight into Ruta. And Leeds have got a chance to score here. Ruta out to Somerville on the left. In the box. Once more. Pirou with the shot. It's a good save again by Gunn. Came out, closed the angle, made himself big and saved a second Pirou shot in this second half. Stacey now from right back, just running into trouble. Through by Gurev. Somerville tackled though quite quickly there by Nunez. It's now with Gabriel Sarah onto his left foot in a right back position. Going down the line for Stacey. Helps it inside to Rowe. Turns away from Gurev, who's been pulled back there by Gurev, and that'll be the most obvious yellow card of the night. Should have had this game killed off. I'm just saying, if Norwich get a goal back, make it 3-1, and they start closing the gap and making it a bit more nervous, Leeds have only got themselves to blame. Pirou should have had 2 already in the second half. Been quite poor finishing, especially the first one. He hit it straight at the goalkeeper, literally a minute into the second half. I like this glass as well. I just realised. Look at that, Champions League. Pepsi. That's probably, I don't know why. I don't think anyone's interested, but I thought I'd point it out. Anyway. Norwich have the ball. I just thought that would be an interesting thing to show, and then I just thought it's just a glass with the Champions League logo on it. It's not that interesting. Norwich on the ball with their goalkeeper, Angus Gunn. It's Gibson just getting around Nonto, playing it to Yanulis. First time ball forward towards the halfway line. It's a clearance forward by Rodon. Controlled by Ruta. Turns away from Duffy, but kicks it forward to a yellow shirt of Gibson. He goes forward to Rowe, who can't keep it away from Firpo. It's now with Ruta to Somerville in the central area. He's finding those central areas quite often, Somerville, in this game. Just drifting inside from the left wing. And he plays the ball out wide to the right now to Gray, who again is getting into the final third, but going back to Kamara. So back into Gurev, everyone behind the ball for Norwich, including the striker Ashley Barnes. As Somerville goes to the left centre half here of Ampadu. Firpo. Back to Ampadu as Leeds are going deeper into their own half here. Good press from Norwich, getting themselves up the field here. That's Firpo at left back, facing his own goal. Just clears it right-footed. Bit of a balloon clearance, but he's been flicked on by Ruta, who's found Somerville onside. And he's tackled, though, by Duffy, recovering well. I'm surprised Ruta was onside there, in all honesty, as that ball was played forward. I thought Ruta was offside, but both of them were on in the end. And now Sainz can attack down the left for Norwich. Burst away from Ruta, who's trying to keep up with him. And Sainz tries to get beyond him, but Ruta slides in. Another missed time challenge. And this time it'll be a yellow card for the number 24. He's doing everything right there, Ruta. You know, he's playing the number 10 role, but he's getting back into the right-back position to track his man of Borja Sainz. But he just dived in and just mistimed the tackle. Didn't get the ball and caught the man. So yellow card for Ruta. Really good chance for a delivery here. On the left-hand side for Norwich. Gabriel Sarah and Marcelino Nunez is over it. Nunez walks away, so it'll be a left-footed Outswinging delivery here by Gabriel Sara, who was named in the Championship Team of the Year. And they need him to bring some brilliant crossing ability to this party now. It's not really a party for Norwich, is it? It's a Leeds party, a playoff final party at the moment. But the mood could change if Norwich get a goal here. Referee blows his whistle. Sara will deliver it in. It's a deeper one. It's straight into the hands of Meslier. That is such a bad cross by Gabriel Sara, who's just done nothing right this game. He's barely been involved. As Kamara slide tackled there by Duffy, who won it, but no one in a yellow shirt was able to pick it up. So Kamara got back to his feet and just regained the ball there for Leeds. A bit too easy in the enders. Playing out from the back here. Joe Rodon at right centre back. Not many options with him. Lifts it down the line, but straight to Yanulis, who's let the ball run through into his own half here. And he plays the ball back to Gunn, who's now on the edge of the 18-yard box, playing it into Duffy. It's now Nunez in the holding midfield role. Going to the left here to Gibson. 1-2 with Sainz. Plays it into Sainz again. Forward to Barnes in the centre circle. Wanted to go out wide right, but it's cut out by Ampadu and it drops to Piru. Can't quite play the pass back there to Somerville. Wasn't for the need of not trying there by Piru, but just couldn't quite get the pass off in the end. Norwich in their own half with the ball. Nunez in between the two centre-backs, not being pressed by a Leeds player at the moment. Piru is getting closer, but he goes to the left there to Gibson. Forward to McLean. Then out wide left there to Yanulis. McLean, though, caught by Kamara as he played the pass. And that will be a free kick for Norwich in their own half. Well done, well won there by McLean. Who's definitely felt the contact from that foul by Glenn Kamara. As the referee here is swapping his spray with the fourth official, Rebecca Welch. Yeah, his white spray can had ran out, so he's just had to swap that quickly. Jared Gillett, not seen that one before. So back underway. Borja Sainz, the substitute at half-time, trying to make things happen. He's found a pass out wide right. It's a good ball, but Stacey won't beat Firpo to it. Firpo back to Meslier, who clears first time, taking no chances. It's a big clearance with the left foot into the Norwich half, volleyed forward by Duffy, controlled by Sara, and then back into Gibson. It's now Sara. Wanted to go out to the left. He goes back to Gibson. He's looking to go forward, but the pressing's too good from Leeds. Gibson spinning, though, and keeping it away from Somerville. Big switch out to the right-hand side where there's space here for Stacey. Nonto's getting back, but Stacey beats him to it. No one in the box, though, with him. Stacey delays it, then eventually puts the ball in, but cleared by Ampadu. Throwing on this near side for Norwich in the final third. Really good switch of play, though, to find Stacey. But they didn't have enough bodies in the box, really, for Stacey to aim at. Throwing taken by Stacey to the edge of the box to Sara. Tackled by Grev. Loose ball drops to Rowe. Can't quite work himself away from Ampadu. But it's now with Duffy into the middle of the park here to McLean. Got no real options in front of him, so has to go back here to Gibson. Across to Nunez. Duffy, right centre-back. Out wide here to Stacey, who can bring the ball forward. Turns away from Nonto. Sara, misplaced pass, cut out by Kamara, who's caught by Rowe in the face. And Rowe is booked. He dived in the first half. So Jared Gillett's going to let it go. I think he's just telling him to be careful there, the referee, because like I say, he's already on a yellow. Jonathan Rowe. Yeah, just a little bit of a hanging arm there to catch the face of Kamara. Bit naughty that. If Rowe wasn't already booked, would he have picked up a yellow card there? Possibly. Not too sure. Definitely just left a little elbow hanging in there as he went towards the ball with Kamara. Does look like Norwich are going to have to make another change here. Their left back, Dimitrios Yanulis, is only just returning from an injury. He'd missed the last 9 before returning for the last game of the season and started the first leg. So it looks like he'll have to be replaced by the left back Sam McCallum. And it looks like they're also going to bring on the right winger of Christian Fasnacht very shortly. It might actually be now, not just shortly. I think they're imminent, these changes. So similar changes. Fasnacht came on in the first leg with half an hour to play for Rowe. And McCallum came on for Giannoulis with 15 minutes to play. Not sure if they will be the ones being brought off here. It'll be 30 coming off. So, yeah, same changes last time. Left back for left back. Giannoulis off for McCallum. And the second change will see the number 6 come off. So, Ben Gibson off, the centre-back, for Christian Fasnacht. So, centre-back off for a winger. So, they're obviously going to go for it a little bit more now. Norwich, maybe possibly a back 3. So changes made. We'll have to see what the Norwich shape looks like as we're back underway. Leeds on the ball in their 18-yard box from Melier. Going out to the right here to Rodon. Being closed down slowly by Rowe. He's just eventually getting out towards him. But Rodon plays it to great right back. Inside Somerville. It will deflect to him as it gets away from Sainz. And Somerville brought down in the end. But play continues as it drops to Ruter. Slide tackle goes in. And it'll be a foul. Pulled back there by the referee. Not the final tackle by McLean. That was quite tackle. It was the second one there by Nunez that sent Somerville to the deck. So it's about 25 yards out, just towards the right-hand side. It's not a great angle for a shot, but it wasn't a great angle for the shot for the Grev goal, but he made it work. So we'll have to see. It's pretty much the exact same spot where Gurev scored that free kick in the first half, 7 minutes in to make it 1-0. So I think Gunn is definitely going to cover that near post here. And I think he's doing that now. Just moved across, not wanting to be caught out again there by the Gurev cleverness of that first free kick. It will be Gurev to take it. He will cross it this time towards the far post where Ampadu heads it across. Header won by Duffy. Drops to Rodon. As Ampadu stay down here. Kamara wants the 1-2 though with Ruter. Overhit, and it'll come out for a goal kick. Ampadu just holding the top of his head there as he won the original first header. Gurev crossed it in left-footed towards goal. Ampadu won the header. Oh, and as he won the header, he just put his head into the back of Stacey's head. Yeah, a bit of a painful one there for Ampadu. But he's back to his feet, doesn't need any medical assistance. And we'll get back underway here. The difference between... This is how much there was such a gap between the playoff chasers and the automatic promotion chasers. Leeds finished on 90 points. Norwich finished on 73. 17-point gap difference between 6th and 3rd place. That is quite some gap. As it looks like Norwich have stayed with the 4 at the back, but it does look like they're playing their captain, Kenny McLean, as a left centre-back. As Gunn goes long with the goal kick here up towards Sainz. Ampadu will deal with it though. It goes back to Melier, who's going to take a touch out of his left foot and clear it down the Leeds left-hand side, beyond the halfway line, up towards Nonto. Loses out there to Duffy. Header straight to Gurev, who nods it into Kamara, gives it away loosely, looking for Ruter, picked up by McLean, who will drive forward with the ball. Plays it into the space here for McCallum, the substitute left-back. He's got loads of time to cross it. It needs to go in. He will deliver. It's a decent ball header away for Leeds. Bulisar Sainz on the edge of the box, who shoots towards goal. Never really caught it. Blocked and cleared by Ampadu. Needs to just be a bit quicker though, really. The cross from McCallum in the final third, forward from left back. So throwing for Norwich, throwing back into their own half here into Duffy. Now across to Nunez. It's now Duffy still with the ball at right centre half. Sarah back into Duffy. It's just the Leeds press. It's just too good for Norwich. They can't break you through the team with the passing. They're just being made to go backwards all the time at the moment. It's now trying the left-hand side. Sainz just about keeping it under control in the Norwich half. Through the legs of Gruev. Sainz bringing the ball forward here. Really positive run. Wants the 1-2 with Barnes, but he'd been blocked off with his run. Referee didn't see it that way, but the flag was up anyway. As Sainz played the pass through for Barnes for the 1-2. Barnes was in an offside position. Let's have a look. Sainz, he's been quite good since coming on at half-time for Sargent, but as he played that ball through for Barnes, he was offside. So, a rightly given offside by the assistant referee on the near side. Great commentary this, mate. Thank you very much. Do appreciate that. I mean, it is a bit difficult commentating on games like this when... I mean, it was a great game to commentate on first half. Obviously, loads of goals, but second half, the game's a little bit stale with the fact that it's very hard for Norwich to turn this around. It was going to be hard for them to turn it around at 1-0. Never mind 3. As we've got a quarter of the game to go. Somerville to the left here, to the edge of the box, and Nonto, who enters the box, shoots with the right foot, bounces in front of the keeper, who parries it away. Firpo squares it. Somerville on the rebound, and in it goes for 4. And that is certainly the game wrapped up. If it was ever in doubt, which I don't think it was, it definitely is not in doubt now that Leeds United will be going to Wembley in 10 days' time for the Championship playoff final as they look to try and be promoted for the first time via the playoffs. Just been too easy, really. Just picked up in the midfield area by Piru. Kamara slipped it through for Somerville, who found the space in between the lines there. Played it to the left to Nonto, who had a shot. Like I said, just bounced in front of the goalkeeper, who could only parry it out wide. And in fairness, that's what he told as a goalkeeper, parry it out wide, but it fell straight to Firpo, who had the presence of mind just to not panic and try and shoot on a crazy angle. Just pulled it back for Somerville, who followed the shot in. And he got the cut back from Firpo, and it was a simple 6-yard finish into the bottom left corner. Good assist there for Firpo. Somerville with another goal for Leeds, the Championship Player of the Year. That's now 21 in all competitions for the Dutchman. And it's probably going to be all over now for Norwich City, who will have to spend another season in the Championship. It will be a 3rd successive season in this division. And Leeds have made a change with Willie Nonto coming off for Dan James, as it is Leeds who are 4 goals to the good. Just as I was explaining how the game's gone a little bit stale due to the fact that Leeds were so far ahead and it was difficult for Norwich to make a comeback, Leeds go and score another goal. Somerville this time with the goal, and we've had 4 different scorers as well, as Somerville wants a second here within a minute, attacking down the left-hand side. He's away from the Norwich goal. He's been tackled illegally by Jack Stacey, and that'll be a free kick on the left wing for Leeds United. Gruev got the first, Piru got the second, Ruta got the third before the break, and then Somerville's just scored the 4th goal. It's just all gone wrong for Norwich City here, as it's now going to be 5 wins in 6 for Leeds against Norwich. And it's unfortunate for Norwich because their previous 2 appearances in Football League playoffs, they have reached the final both times, winning in 2015 against Middlesbrough, but losing the final in 2002 to Birmingham. This time they will not be reaching the final, as it's a Norwich throw-in on the far side, just overrun there by Archie Gray. And they are going to enjoy their Wembley trip, these Leeds United supporters. That goes without saying. They're enjoying tonight, and they've got 10 days prep until the final, which will be against either Southampton or West Brom. The winner of that will be decided tomorrow at St Mary's, after their first leg was also 0-0, like this one. And that's why it was important for Norwich to try and at least gain a little bit of a lead in that first leg at home, but it just didn't really look dangerous enough to score a goal in all honesty. And with less than 20 minutes to play here, Norwich look down and out. Scunthorpe lover. Wow, I didn't know there was many of those. Scunthorpe lovers. I hope you're doing okay. I know your club's had pretty horrid times as of late, which is never nice for a club to go through. As Norwich give it away with Sarah straight to Ruta. Somerville making a run to his left. Ruta's going to go on his own for the moment, but he's been slide tackled there by Stacey. Really good tackle in the central midfield role there, getting across from right back to stop that attack. Jack Stacey. And a high ball forward by Nunez, looking for Barnes. He's isolated up front. He fouls Rodon as he went for the header. Maybe a bit of arm used there by Ashley Barnes. And it's Leeds United free kick. As Leeds are going to make another substitute here. Another substitution. They made 3 substitutions on Sunday when Nonto was replaced by Anthony. This time, Nonto has been replaced by James. I think it could be a triple change here for Leeds, as obviously they've just got to see this game out. Not sure when those changes will be made. Looks like it's going to be Jaden Anthony, Connor Roberts and Matteo Joseph. They won't be made yet, as Leeds have it with their goalkeeper of Melier to the edge of the area to Rodon. 17.5 minutes left to play here at Ellen Road as Leeds go down the right side, cut out by McCallum. It's now with Sainz to McCallum, tackled by Piru, but gets the seconds there, the Norwich left back. And it's now in the central area here with Nunez. With Sarah, sorry. Now into Nunez, to the right centre back of Duffy. His pass forward deflects and falls to Piru. Out wide right now to Dan James. Got the overlap of Kamara. James will go on his own with the shot. Deflects off McLean. And out for a throw-in on that far side for Leeds. We're going to make these 3 changes now. So the first one. We'll see Crescencio Somerville, the goal scorer of the 4th and final goal at the moment. He'll be replaced by the number 12 of Jaden Anthony, who spent the season on loan from Bournemouth, very much a squad player. Only started twice in the league, Jaden Anthony. The rest of his appearances have been off the bench. The second change, we'll see Jorginho Ruta. He'll be replaced by Matteo Joseph, the Spanish under-21 international. And the third and final change, we'll see Joel Piru, who also scored tonight. Could have had a hat-trick, but he scored the second goal. A nice header at the far post from a lovely Nonto cross. And he'll be replaced by number 33, Connor Roberts, who's on loan from Burnley and from January till the end of the season. Of course, won the championship title last season, Connor Roberts, with Burnley. And he wants promotion again this time through a different route. This will be through the playoffs with Leeds United. So, Somerville, Ruta, Piru off for Anthony, Roberts and Joseph. It's Leeds on the ball at the back line. Forced to go back here to Melier. Takes a left-footed touch and then clears with his right foot. High ball down the Leeds right, up towards James. Loses out with the header to McCallum. And the header will be rolled out of play for a throw-in for Leeds. Seen out there by Joe Rodon, who you could say has had a very successful loan spell here at Leeds United. If he plays in the final, which you would expect Joe Rodon to do, it'll be his 50th Leeds appearance. Of course, a Tottenham player, but that could change in the summer for Rodon, because it doesn't look like he'll be in the Ange Postecoglou plans. As Rodon has it, goes across to the left back here, Firpo, who assisted the 4th goal for Somerville. It's now Vampadu on the edge of the area, not being closed down by any Norwich shirt. Goes forward to Gruev, then out to the left now to Kamara. Finding Firpo. Forward to Anthony, completes the 1-2. Firpo inside into the centre circle now to Joseph. Works it to the right here to James. It's a very heavy hit pass and it can't quite be controlled. It's now cleared by the Norwich goalkeeper, a gun. Up towards Barnes, who loses out in the end there to both Rodon and Gruev, who doubled up on Ashley Barnes. It's now with the right back, Roberts. Easy 1-2 there with Gray. It's now Gray, who loses out to Sainz, but then won back by Joseph. And it's now Rodon with the ball. No, referee. What's he give? No idea. think it's going to be a Leeds free kick on the halfway line. On the far side. Slight trip there by Sainz. So Roberts will play the ball back here to Rodon, and we're back underway here. As we've got 13.5 minutes left to go. Connor Roberts at right back going here to Rodon, and then back once more to Meslier. It's just a case of seeing the game through now for Leeds. I mean, if they do, obviously they're through, aren't they? I'm not even going to try and joke about Norwich getting back in this game because they've not looked like scoring all night. In all honesty, they've had one chance, which came straight after the second goal, which in fairness, they should have actually scored, with Josh Sargent missing a pretty clear one-on-one with Elan Meslier. Don't get me wrong, it was a good save, but as a striker, you'll watch them back and think that you should really be scoring them. It's in the 18-yard box for Leeds with their left centre-half of Ampadu. Trying to clear it down the line, but it's kicked off Jonathan Rowe. And it's out for a Leeds United throwing here with Ampadu to take it. Right in front of those Norwich City supporters. Ampadu taking his time with this throw-in. Eventually thrown down the line. It's a long throw towards the halfway line. Sliced out by Duffy. It'll be another throw-in for Leeds to take. But for Norwich, they got themselves into the playoff positions in March, at the start of March, and stayed in there, which was impressive because it was quite close around the playoff spots with the likes of Hull trying to nick that final spot. But they were just able to get themselves over the line, Norwich. And this is the 9th time this season in the Championship they've conceded 3 or more goals, so they have been quite vulnerable to a little bit of a beating in terms of conceding goals. And this is another night where they've been absolutely battered by Leeds, if we're going to talk very openly and honestly. Leeds on the ball in their own half with Ampadu. Playing the pass here to Rodon. It's not the right back Roberts. Just seems like Norwich have, well, I mean, they've lacked what looks like self-belief for a while, but even more so now, especially at 4-0. Just like their energy's been zapped out. With Sainz on the left wing, still trying to make things happen here for Norwich. He's been brilliant off the bench. He probably should have started ahead of Sargent, really, because it looked like Wagner was desperate to get Barnes back into the team from injury. He returned tonight, in the starting 11. I definitely would have carried on with Sainz, because Sainz didn't play that bad as well in the first leg. If we're being honest, I thought he played okay. I thought it was a little bit harsh to drop him for this second leg. But Wagner will learn from it, I'm sure. As Norwich playing a bit of football, Rowe down the right wing, kicking it off Ampadu, throwing for Norwich. Stacey wants to try and take it as quickly as possible, but he won't, because Norwich want to make 2 changes, and they're going to do just that. First change, we'll see the returning Ashley Barnes, who missed the last 2 games for Norwich. He'll be replaced by number 14, Sidney van Hooijdonk, the Dutch striker on loan from Bologna. And the second change, we'll see Jakob Sorensen, Danish central midfielder. He'll also be coming on, the 26-year-old. And he will replace Jonathan Rowe, who also was returning back from injury for these playoff games. His first start back from injury was in the first leg. He'd played the previous 4 off the bench. So Barnes off and Rowe for Van Hooijdonk and Sorensen. Jonathan Rowe looking rather deflated on the bench for Norwich, as it's just not been their night for anyone really. High ball down the right side, overhead of Jack Stacey, throwing midway side the Leeds half for the home team. Do apologise for that noise if you can still hear it. But it's Norwich on the ball, midway inside their own half here, with Kenny McLean, who's had to fill in at centre-back for the last 20 or so minutes as Norwich made substitutes try and go for it. Plays down the left here for Sainz. It's going to be dealt with by Rodon in the box, clears it down the line, and he finds Dan James. That's a brilliant pass. I don't know if it was a pass, but it's come off as a pass, and he's played it down the line. James now for Joseph, who can't quite beat Nunez to it, who slides across and concedes the throw-in. So it'll be a Leeds ball. As it looks like Leeds are going to be making another change here. Not too sure. Yeah, they will. And it'll be the man who opened the scoring with that free kick in the 7th minute from about 30 yards out. Looked like he was going to cross it, but he said bent it into the bottom right corner. And that is Ilya Gruev, the Bulgarian holding midfielder. He'll be coming off with less than 10 minutes to play. And Gruev will be replaced by Liam Cooper, the Leeds United club captain. So it does look like Ethan Ampadu will go into midfield and he'll get the armband off the Welsh international. So Cooper goes in at the back. And it looks like this might be Liam Cooper's last appearance for Leeds United at home. He might not be returning next season. Liam Cooper, so it could be a goodbye for the club captain. That's great. Out to the far side here to James. He's got Roberts on the overlap. James will go for a cross himself. Header away though by McLean. Dealt with. But he drops to the halfway line to Rodon. It's now into the midfield to Ampadu. And I just had a quick check, but it is Cooper's contract that is up in the summer. So he might not be signing a new one with Leeds. So this could be his goodbye at Elland Road. And what a game to finish your Leeds career at. For Liam Cooper, who's been at the club for, coming up to 10 years, joined in the August of 2014 from Chesterfield. He's played full 10 seasons here at Leeds. This is 199th appearance for Leeds in the Championship. As he plays it to Firpo at left back. Inside to Ampadu, forward to Anthony, flicks it towards Firpo, cut out by the Slough challenger Stacey. Throwing on the halfway line here for Leeds, taken quickly by Ampadu. A big throw towards Joseph, who will chase it down into the box. Duffy clears it, volleyed away by McCallum with his left boot. Up towards Ampadu, heads it out to the left to Firpo. Really good controlled header. And Leeds are back in possession. With Ampadu in the midfield. Lifting it forward towards Joseph. Nodded down by Duffy to his left to McLean. Who goes back across to Duffy, keeping it away from Joseph. It's now into the right back of Stacey. Back into Duffy. Just seems very lifeless. This Norwich team now, after being humiliated here at Elland Road. It's an 8-hour round drive for Norwich City fans who have come here by coaches and car. So it's going to be quite a miserable trip back to Norwich as a long diagonal switch has been cut out by Roberts. And it's now Kamara. Gets away from Sarah. And away from Sorensen. And out to the left here to Firpo. Joseph making a run down the left-hand side. And he will be found here. Joseph, no, he won't. Passes over here. Cleaned up by McLean, who goes to the goalkeeper Gunn, who takes a touch and just kicks it out of play for a corner kick. Just a little bit nervy there from Angus Gunn. So it looks like it's going to be a Dan James in-swinging corner here for Leeds as they want a fifth possibly. Don't need one, and I certainly don't think they'll mind if they don't get one. Cooper is up there, the captain. How he would like to score one at the near post. What a shocking cross that is. Straight at the first man, Borja Sainz, who just volleys away right-footed, throwing for Leeds. To such a anticlimactic corner, just to hit the first man. At least try and aim for a Leeds player. So we've got less than 4 minutes to play here. Leeds are 4-0 up. did their job, made sure they were level for the second leg. I think that was their main aim for that first leg. Just try and draw it as a minimum. Obviously, of course, don't lose it, but I don't think they were too overwhelmed with the idea of trying to win that first leg away from home. As long as they came into this second leg all level, like I say, as a minimum, they knew they could take this game on a level playing field in terms of the scoreline. Roberts does give it away, though, the right back. It's now Sainz to bring it forward on the left wing for Norwich. Stopped in his tracks, though, by a slide challenge from Ampadu, but it does drop back to Norwich, so they do have the ball in their own half with 3 to play. Kenny McLean on the ball here. Goes forward to Sainz. Anthony closing him down, but he keeps it away from him at the moment. Sorensen to McLean again. Lifts it down the line towards Sarah, who's tackled by Ampadu. Throwing on the halfway line for Norwich, taken quickly by McCallum. It'll be given chase to by Fastnacht, who I don't think's had a touch of the ball so far since he's come on. Fastnacht has it in the final third. Has to go back, though, to McCallum, who will want to cross it. He will cross it, and the shot will go towards goal. It dribbles wide of that near post there by Van Hooijdonk. The loanee from Bologna, still not scored for Norwich since joining on loan in January. Not started as well for the club. And that was a rather poor attempt of a finish there. Not a bad cross, but couldn't quite direct it on target with his right foot. Probably better suited for a left-footed shot, but obviously not confident on his weaker side there, Van Hooijdonk. We shouldn't really have too much added on time because there's not been many stoppages, probably just the goals. And we've had just the one in this second half. Not had any injury stoppages. We've had obviously quite a few substitutions as well. So I presume we'll get about 3 added on, possibly. As Meslier has it for Leeds in goal. To the right back, Roberts goes across the box here to find Liam Cooper, who looks like he could be leaving the club in the summer with the expiry of his contract. The expiration of his contract, that's the right wording. I should know as a commentator. As is Archie Gray, who's just still going. What an absolute machine he is. Down the left for James, who is brought down there by Duffy, who slides in just outside the box. Quite fortunate there for Duffy, because if that was in the box, of course, it would have been a Stonewall penalty. But Archie Gray ran around Nunez. James made a run ahead of him, slipped it through beyond Stacey, and then Duffy tried to get across and cover with a slide tackle, but got none of the ball and caught the man. And that will be a Leeds free kick here on the left-hand side. It's almost like a better angled corner, really. So, good chance for Dan James to deliver this in, as we are edging closer towards the 90th minute here. We will be bringing live commentary of the Championship playoff final as well, which is at Wembley in 10 days' time. So make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you know exactly what games I'm doing and when I'm doing them. As James goes for the shot from the free kick, rather greedy in the end, and it lacked quality. And that'll be a goal kick. Not to be too harsh on Dan James, but literally the last goal he scored against Hull was from, I think, in his own half or just inside the opposition half. He scored a fantastic goal from a counter-attack. The goalie went up and James finished into an empty net, but from quite far out. But he just, for me, he's just not a Premier League quality player. He's got plenty of pace. He's quite good with his feet. But when it comes to that almost bit of football intelligence and just overall finishing and overall just the way he carries the ball, for me, there's a reason why he didn't quite hit it off in the Premier League whilst he was there for the likes of Manchester United, and then didn't really hit it off for Leeds, hence why he went on loan to Fulham, and then he didn't really do that well at Fulham on loan last season. Again, not to bring a downer on Dan James there, but I think for me the Premier League is just a bit too much of a step up for him. I think he'd be brilliant in Championship sides like he was for Swansea before he moved to Leeds all those years ago. Well, Swansea to Manchester United and then to Leeds. 2 minutes have been added on. Very nicely done by the referee there to just give us a 2 minutes of stoppages so we can get this full-time whistle blown. 1 minute of it played. McLean goes in the book there. Late challenge on James. It's in the centre circle here of Rodon. Just goes to his right to Ampadu, brings it into the Norwich half, and he goes forward with the pass, cut out by McCallum, who goes forward himself here to Sarah. Can Norwich get a consolation goal here? Sarah looking out to his left, but Gray's trying to stop him. He will play the pass in the end to Van Hooijdonk. Then back to the halfway line to Sorensen. 30 seconds left here for Leeds United before they can celebrate a playoff final appearance. As Norwich try and go in behind towards Jack Stacey. Seen out though by Junior Firpo. Good defending there by the number 3. And it'll be a goal kick for Leeds. Couple of seconds to go. Daniel Farker, brought in the summer, has got Leeds 1 game away from the playoff final, and the whistle is blown, and Leeds United reach a playoff final for the first time since 2008. They have never been promoted via the playoffs. This is their 6th attempt, but this has got to be their best chance to do it. Absolutely thrashing this Norwich side in the second leg by 4-0 after drawing 0-0 on the Sunday at Carrow Road in the first leg. 4 different scorers, 3 in the first half. The first with Gruev scoring his first goal for Leeds. The second in the 20th minute through Piru. A third was added just before the break by Ruta, who has stopped his goal-scoring rut in front of goal. And Somerville added a fourth with around 20 minutes to play. A tap in from 6 yards after a really smart cutback by Junior Firpo. Norwich did absolutely nothing in the game going forward. They had 1 shot on target, which was after the second Leeds goal, which really should have been finished by Sargent. And if he scores that, it could be a different game if it goes 2-1. But overall, Norwich completely outplayed, outclassed. Leeds fully deserve their spot in the Championship playoff final, where they will take on either Southampton or West Brom. That will be decided tomorrow at St Mary's. But for now, Leeds are the first team to book their spot into the final on Sunday on the 26th of May. In 10 days' time, they have done a very dominant job there on Norwich. Showed them exactly who the better side is. And Leeds are 1 game away from returning back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. Of course, Norwich not quite at it tonight, but sometimes you've got to accept that the better team won. And that's exactly what happened. Used the Ellen Road atmosphere to their advantage. Gave them something to cheer about early. I think that's always important, and we mentioned it at the start of the game. You know, there's no nerves in the Leeds performance. They were positive straight from the off, won an early corner, and have obviously scored 7 minutes in. And it just really made the atmosphere party-like, and you know, the Leeds players fed off that, and they were positive right through the game. Never looked nervous, never sat back on what they had, always going for that next goal. And it was just a bit too much for Norwich in the end, who were going to have to spend a 3rd season in the Championship. But for Leeds, they have 1 game off the Premier League. Will they do it? We'll wait and see in 10 days' time. We will be bringing live commentary of that, where Leeds will take on Southampton or West Brom. But I hope you did all enjoy. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. 2 more commentaries coming this week, both on Sunday. 1 o'clock kick-off between Crawley and Crewe in the League 2 playoff final, and then straight after we'll be covering the last day of the season, the Premier League, where Manchester City take on West Ham at the Etihad to try and win a 4th Premier League title in a row. But here from Ellen Road, Leeds have got the better of Norwich in the second leg after a 0-0 draw in the first. It was dominant. It was absolutely fantastic to watch. 4 really good goals. Way too good for Norwich, and Leeds are 1 game away from the Premier League. Will they do it? We'll wait and see. But here at Ellen Road, it finishes Leeds United 4, Norwich City 0.